want a second look.
Yeah, there's something about this one, isn't there? Familiar somehow.
We think we're stuck in a specific fragment in time because we've been repeating that same fragment over and over again.
But the flirting's over, Sherlock. Daddy's had enough now.
Hello, welcome. You've seen it before. TV reviews and connections in mind. Agatha All Along is the latest Marvel Disney Plus show. All episodes are now showing on Disney Plus. It is a direct spinoff from their previous show, WandaVision, and once again stars Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness, a witch who has lost her powers and must recruit a coven of witches in order to travel the witch's road and therefore find her powers. However, many things will stand in her way, and not everything is as it appears. This video review will contain spoilers of Agatha All Along, as well as certain other things. I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost, those, but just so you know, there will be spoilers later on this review. So, first things first, let's get some spoiler-free thoughts on Agatha All Along. Is it a good Marvel show? Is it a good show in general? Is it worth your time to watch 9 episodes on Disney Plus? I would say, absolutely. I went into this movie, this show. First of all, I didn't watch it week to week. This is one of those where Marvel has a spotty track record with these, because they're either structured as a show, whereas each episode is, you're furthering the narrative, but each episode can be standalone, or you're getting a Marvel show where it's basically a 6-hour movie that they chopped up into 7 or 8 parts, and they're just dropping it as a show. And I fully expected this show to be the latter, where it would just be a long movie that they just chopped up. So I waited until all the episodes had dropped before I saw this. Which, honestly, you can work either way, but this works just as well as a week-to-week episode show, because really this does a really great job of being an episodic adventure, because when you're traveling the witch's road, there are various trials, and each episode, one episode focuses on one, and another episode focuses on another, and so on and so on. You got various characters that have backstories. We're going to focus on this character's backstory in one episode, this character's backstory in another episode, and that's the great thing about episodic storytelling. You can have a continuous narrative, but you break it up nicely, and if you're watching it week to week, this series does a great job of leaving you wanting more. And indeed, by the end, I was actually pleasantly surprised that it left me, if we don't get any more, I think we'll be fine, but I'm actually I would not object to more from this, the way it ends. And that's fantastic, and it's not forgettable in the least. I mean, I point to something like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where at the time, there's some great things in it, but we're now, 2 or 3 years removed from that, and I don't remember much at all about that, honestly. Here, I mean, yes, it is more recent, but I don't think I'm going to forget this series, and that's a testament to how well this is. This one caught me by surprise, and again, I went to this almost feeling like, between this and, some Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, this felt like an obligation watch. With the MCU, we have all these series coming out, especially that they were blanketing everything. We had our 1 year in 2024 where they pumped the brakes a little bit on this, but now I think, they have a backlog of stuff, so now we're going to flood the market again in 2025 with stuff. But here, it felt like an obligation. Was all right. If you're going to understand the MCU, you need to see this series. And even if you don't, there's going to be something in here that's going to tie into this. And that's kind of how I felt, about WandaVision in a way, because when you go to see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, you almost have to watch WandaVision in order to understand what's going on with Wanda's character in that. Here, yes, you kind of have to know a bit about WandaVision in order to understand about Agatha Harkness, but really don't need to know very much about this. And, it rewards people who have seen WandaVision, for sure, but if you went to this completely clean, I think you'd have just as much a good time with this. I think that's also down to, the chemistry between the actors in this. You got, five or so characters that do a really good job bouncing off each other. I think also a lot of it has to go to Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness. She this series does reward rewatch because there are plot twists in this series that if you go in and watch this one way, you watch it straight, and then once you get to the end, it's like, oh man, now I can go back and see everything that she said in a completely different light. That is amazing. That is a great testament to great writing on that front, and I think they did a really good job showing that. Really, there's not a whole lot I can say that is particularly negative about this, because really by focusing on a smaller cast, there's others like side extras and stuff and bit parts or whatever, but really you're focusing only on about five or six characters throughout the entirety of this series. You're able to focus on them very well, and you're able to do all this with again a much smaller budget than a lot of these Marvel shows are. I think I saw something about like maybe this whole series was maybe $45 million for 9 episodes, and considering Disney's been dropping $300 million on the latest Indiana Jones movie, and it bombed spectacularly. This is it. This is amazing from that perspective. Again, it shows the balance of it's a smaller story, but it's focused. It's streamlined. It's focusing on the characters in just the right balance. Each character has pretty balanced amounts of screen time in this. And again, I gotta hand it to them. They did a really good job on this. I would have to rate this pretty high on the in the pantheon of MCU Disney Plus series, just because it's not going to be forgettable. It does leave me wanting more, and really, I think it's not going to be forgettable in any way. And I think that's this thing, because well, let me just tell you, there's the song of the Witch's Road, Down the Witch's Road. You probably hear it in the trailer. My gosh, is that a catchy song? Maybe just because they play it so many times throughout this series, and maybe just because I was binge watching it after all the episodes come out. I heard it so many times. Like, now the song is stuck in my head, but I almost don't mind it being stuck in my head because it's kind of a fun song that they play. And that's a good sign. So if I was going to give Agatha All Along a letter grade, I would say this is a solid A. There are little quibbles that I have with this, like some of the episodes I think they could have gone a little bit longer. Some plot points I think they kind of drop, and they could have explored a little bit more. And we'll get to this more. I think the ending, while it does leave me wanting more somewhat, I think is a kind of a weird way to end things. But overall, a solid turn-in for Marvel. So well done on that front. So those are my main spoiler-free thoughts on Agatha All Along. Now I've gotten some spoiler talk as certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. I really will only a couple things that I want to touch on here. We have the character of Billy, Billy Maximoff, the William the Teen, throughout this, and then there's a great episode. I really enjoyed his episode when you go back and see that, oh man, he's actually, he's encountered all of these witches before, and, what a small world we've seen. And maybe, that's kind of a lost twist there. The show Lost, where it's like, oh, this character, you think you're a whole bunch of strangers, but really they're all connected somehow. They've all interacted in some form or fashion, and now they're in dire straits. Oh man, their connections are deeper than you know. That's a great twist in my opinion, if done well. And I think they did it well in this. And finally, the twist also with Billy, where he get the end of the Witch's Road. He's released. He goes back to his room, then realizes he's looking around his room, and he connects the dots. And like, oh, it's the Wizard of Oz diorama, the poster of the Witch's Road album there, and then all these things like, did I create the Witch's Road? It's like, yeah. It's like, that's a great, mind-bender twist. But, it made me think of a couple things. You could go back, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, where, all the people in Dorothy's dream were people Dorothy encountered in Oz are kind of a dream representation of people she encountered in the real world. But I would kind of point to a couple other examples of this kind of storytelling. One is Time Bandits, where by the end of the movie, after everything, Kevin, he's, gone through all these various worlds, and, when you get to the end, you see, like, the castle, the Darkness Castle or whatever is, built out of Lego, and there are various toys. Then you see, like, did he actually, like, is this real, or did he create these things from his perception of reality, because he was a history buff and learned all these things, beforehand? So there's that kind of mind-bending as well. But also, I would point to an episode of Doctor Who called The Pandorica Opens, I believe, when Amy Pond, it's revealed that when they get to Earth, they, see the Pandorica, they're in Rome, and it's like, no, she's, you have all these fake Roman soldiers. No, they're all fake. She's created this because she read about Roman soldiers as a kid, and they're feeding off of her mind, that kind of great mind-bending twist that, again, if done well, I think works well. I think this is a good example of this kind of trope working well. It's not something I see very often, but I think it was done well here. So, but like I said, this is a solid way to, outing for Marvel. My really main quibble was with the ending that, okay, Agatha's a ghost. It's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, all right, we're going to go find Tommy. So then end. It's like, okay, what? We're just going to drop it there, right? And it's like, that's why I say I would like to see more from this, but if we don't get any more from this, I'm sort of okay with how it ends, just because that was kind of a weird way to leave things. It doesn't ruin anything, but it does leave on kind of a weird note, in my opinion. But like I said, it was a minor quibble. Overall, a pretty solid offering. What did you think of Agatha All Along? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next TV review, which I'll be doing a full season review of the 5th and final season of Star Trek Lower Decks, once all episodes drop from that. And be sure to look for my next movie review, which, if the schedule holds, will be for Gladiator 2, which comes out November 22nd, I believe. So be sure to look for that. If you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching. Just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.